Right now.
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 Right
Right now.
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 Right now. Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now. All right, and we are live. Welcome to our weekly Right Now Writers Group, where we're joined with other writers in the community, and we come together and do the one thing that we all love to do: procrastinate as writers, and maybe get some writing done. So come join, same time, same place. What's on your mind this week? Would love to hear. Drop a comment, drop a question, and we will chat. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kaufman, daily writing streamer, dragon enthusiast, and soon-to-be fantasy author. So we're definitely going to see what we have on the vibe today. And yes, I am so proud to officially reveal the new 2026 Right Now opening video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll have to go throw it up on the Discord somewhere for those of you who want to check it out. And I need to give thanks for all the writers involved with it. So very, very cool. And as you guys can see here, I'm joined by the ones, the only, my amazing writing cohorts over here. Chat, so I'll let you take it away.
So everyone knows me as Chat Soul, the person with the crazy high word count. I have been writing like crazy the past 2 days. I think I've done at least 6,500 or more a day. I have not been able to put down my work, and I am like super excited. But unfortunately, I do want to say that Pirates Raging Inferno is not going to be releasing this year due to the political climate. I don't feel safe releasing an LGBT book.
Interesting. Okay. We can absolutely touch upon that in a moment. But Soul, thanks so much for sharing that. And Crazy, I'll let you take it away.
What's up? Hope y'all are doing aight. And I'm doing pretty good myself. Still working on my elf book a little bit and Raziel book. Hadn't been working on it too much during the week because for personal reasons and whatnot. But today I hope to start on the writing sprint and start really getting into it a lot more.
Yay. So definitely we'll see what we can get into today. Make sure to stick around. We'll get a couple sprints and we'll try to make some progress on our writing. But first of mind, so that's really interesting, and this is always something I think on the back of my mind. How, without going into a tangent about politics or anything to that extent, because that's not the goal here. How do we continue to stay writing and stay consistent and achieve the goals we want to, while not getting distracted, but also being aware of what's going on in the world?
I have to admit, that kind of feels like it goes into a mental health question. At least it does for me. That's actually why I'm not publishing, is just, I don't personally pay attention to politics to the point where it drives me nuts. I pay just enough attention to have a gist of what's going on. If it's severely important or affects me directly, I'm definitely going to read into it. But if I feel like it's going to be too much, I pull myself away. But I have seen enough of what's going on that I was just like, okay, you know what? I have a book with 3 known LGBT characters. Considering that they're being attacked right now, I do not want to put myself out there because it might be a small chance somebody could figure out where exactly I am. I don't want to put myself in that position.
And I mean, that's very, very understandable, especially with what's going on in the world. And I think with whatever we do, I think our safety first and foremost has to be front of mind. We don't know how people will react. We don't know how people will respond. And I think when we come out on when we come out on issues or on stances or define our identity, it can just be challenging. It can be really challenging. And the internet at times, while there's a lot of strengths and positivity, there's also a lot of toxicity out there. And I think our safety is first and foremost. 100% agree about that. I've always asked myself that same question. Well, I've always been a member of the LGBT community for a couple decades now. I've asked myself, do I identify myself as an LGBT writer? And I think ultimately, when I came to this decision, a while back, I decided no. Well, it is a part of my identity. It's not the part of my identity I identify as. And that's just me personally. It's no like right or wrong thing. This is just the way that I look at it. When I think about how I want to be perceived, I want to be perceived as a writer, regardless of my background, regardless of the way that I look. I want my writing to be judged on the pure merit of storytelling. So I think that's why I personally try to shy away from discussing things about my personal background in terms of politics, religion, beliefs, because it's like that is an important core of who I am. But when it comes to the writing, I want my writing to speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And like whether or not that's right or wrong, whether or not that changes over time, I know the more you step into the spotlight, the more people want to know about you. So for all I know, this answer could change in the future, but I think for now that's what feels right for me. And it's also interesting because writing is also a reflection on society. I was
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a really good what was that? There was a really good video I watched recently. It was Brandon Sanderson. They released it's like one of their like talks at one of the fantasy conventions, and it had a couple of prolific of some well known authors, and they were talking about how fantasy and sci-fi is a reflection on current or can be a reflection on where society is at currently. A lot of the times it's talking about and it's referencing things that are or are not going on during that time period. And I think when we think about our writing, we ask ourselves, what is the goal of our writing? And sometimes a lot of people are going to take it as a commentary on a society. Sometimes people won't. I heard that sci-fi. They were saying that sci-fi tends to do it a little bit more predominantly than fantasy does. And I'd love your guys' opinion on this one. Do you guys think science fiction tends to have more of a indirect or direct commentary on society than fantasy does?
Oh, definitely.
Because
I mean, they
fantasy,
both can, but I feel like sci-fi, it's more
Mhm.
noticeable.
You think probably because it's like the focus on technology, the focus on more like the realism.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it's stuff like cyberpunk or steampunk, things that it's clear we don't have that technology.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, we could. If we
Mm-hmm.
actually applied ourselves, we actually could have that technology. Our world could look like that. We can't exactly make our world look like Lord of the Rings, so much as we'd like to, probably.
You know what? This was a really good comment. So Lynn said, "This is 100% one of the many reasons I write under a pen name." And
I
I
have
mean,
a
so
pen name
actually,
for each of my genres.
and that is actually a reason that writers do write under a pen name. And I wonder if pen names started out from authors who wrote like hundreds of years back. I wonder if pen names, and I feel like they probably did. I think they probably originated during times when writers or authors couldn't identify publicly for based on their style of writing, whether they were of an upper class and or whether they were a lower class, depending on where they were at in the world. Um, my gut tells me that's where pen names originated.
I always kind of figured it was because, well, people look down on, women writing.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably started out with women trying to get into that field, but nobody took them seriously
I wouldn't,
because why were they doing
wouldn't be
that?
surprised. I absolutely wouldn't be surprised about that, actually. Um, wonder if Google will tell me. Let's see.
I'm
Where
actually
did
looking that up. The
where did
earliest
author
use
pen names
English in
originate?
the 1860s.
Yeah, here. Yeah, so you see here, I just the quick Google search. Author pen names originated from a need for privacy to avoid social prejudice, especially for women and political writers. It's like first thing that pops up in the quick Google search.
Neat.
Interesting. Lynn is saying horror is the biggest in my opinion. which is interesting on a social commentary.
I don't see that.
I could definitely see that.
That's kind of interesting because I mean, what horror really does well is it plays into our beliefs. It plays into our fears of things that are either real or surreal, and then challenging us. How do we respond to fear? I've always been a fan of the horror genre, and I think that's fascinating. Actually, I never would have considered horror as a bigger a social commentary.
I don't watch horror. I don't read horror. I prefer not to have nightmares, but yeah, no, I've noticed that.
Mm-hmm. Monsters on
my nightmares.
Yeah, I would agree with that though. Courtney, yeah, like I thought pen started because women wouldn't get published. Yeah, I mean, based on a quick Google search, it said that the need for to avoid social prejudice, especially for women, and that was just what initial Google, whether or not that's truth or not. But it sounds like that was definitely a core reason. Absolutely. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting. And I guess I'm kind of curious for those of you who are here with us right now, whether you're watching live or on the replay, when you're writing your stories, are you writing your stories with the intent to be a commentary on something that's going on in the world?
I feel like if people write like that, I think you can tell.
You think they can when it's more intentional like that?
Yeah, if somebody is purposely going to tackle something that is currently known issue,
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely going to put more emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be clear that their own thoughts, not just as a writer but as a person, are coming through,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot harder to write. It's a lot harder to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just something that, I'm not going to say exactly what happens with the second book,
Mm-hmm.
but it actually touched upon an issue that some LGBT people deal with, and I didn't realize that's exactly what I was writing until I was halfway through. I got to the middle section that I had such a problem with, and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, oh, I actually wrote this in the book. Oh my god. I know if I had actually done that on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
it would have looked a lot different. It would have been a lot more prominent.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other books that I've read, just sometimes certain issues seem to just stick out more in
Mm-hmm.
that book than another book that's really similar.
I find with a lot of classic novels, and you guys can probably agree with it, so I think a lot more classic novels are much more obvious in their intent to be a commentary on
Oh yeah.
society. A lot of classic novels are. Lynn makes I think Lynn is similar with you. So Lynn said, story comes first, but I almost always figure out halfway through the story that it's really about something current. It's part of a discovery process for me. And I might be right there with you guys, even if I think about Scarecrow. My intent was character development and telling their story and the themes. But then if I pull back on the greater world, the post-apocalyptic nature of it, and the themes that explores on why the world has resulted in the way it has, I think it can be a commentary. Absolutely, especially as readers come to understand why does the world exist where where humanity is extinct and many of the species are the last of their kind. So it's kind of interesting, but I don't think that's what I originally set out to achieve. Kind of fascinating. And then once we put our stories out to readers, the readers are the ones who get to decide how they want to perceive it. Right? Readers might pick up on certain things, they might not. And I think that's what's fascinating.
I think part of that is also the readers themselves, what kind of issues they themselves focus on. I think if it's something that actually matters to them, they're a lot more likely to pick it out than somebody where it doesn't matter to them. So I think that also kind of that's something that, like, the writer can't control or whatever, but sometimes readers that, yeah, I think that's actually how I kind of figure out that's what I was doing, is just because it was an issue that I knew of and I was really involved in, and then it was like, oh, I'm pretty sure if I had actually like not been that interested, I may not have noticed that until like much later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's yeah, that's really interesting, actually, as I'm kind of thinking about that. Yeah, I agree. Once it's out there, readers, just like art, will have many different ways to view the work.
I mean, writing
Yeah,
is art if you think about
it
it.
is, it is, right? Writing is art. And I think something so important to keep in mind, whether or not, and I actually, I'll throw this question out here. Do you guys think a majority of people are readers? And when we talk about readers reading either fiction or nonfiction, let's just say reading in general, um, do you guys think people generally are readers?
Probably most are, because I've seen lots of people that I'm friends with talk
Mm-hmm,
about their obsession with books, that
mm-hmm,
it makes me feel like that they need help, but that's okay. But
mm-hmm,
but for like very small amount of people like myself
mm-hmm,
aren't really readers very much. But for I would say like probably 85-90% of the world are readers.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I always ask myself to what extent people are readers versus non-readers. And it's always fascinating because even when we think about media, television, film, a good majority of what gets produced and made originally started off in some type of written form, which is really fascinating. I would almost argue that 70% of what's made started off as some type of written story in one way, shape, or form. And I think that when we put this stuff out there, I think it's almost interesting because we're creating these stories and these characters, and we're hoping that the stories and characters are going to be perceived one way based off how we're shaping the plot and their character development and the themes. But every single person who reads your book is going to be reading your book through their unique lens and their unique perspective. Like, do you guys ever think about that? How almost everybody who reads your book, all your readers are going to, it's almost like they're going to be reading it through a filter, in a sense.
I thought about that when I first
Mm-hmm.
really wrote, when I first seriously wrote Burning Ember.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I got like halfway through the book, I'm just like, you know what? However they see it is however they see it. I'm only going to call someone out on it is if they say something that is really wrong
Mm-hmm.
and goes against the book. Not just like a fan theory that is completely out there and doesn't make sense, but
Mm-hmm.
like something that would be like, completely opposite of it.
Mm. What do you mean like the opposite of it? Like they've made like a guess based on the text and it's like an incorrect, or they've drawn like the wrong conclusions.
Yeah, I'd say they draw the wrong conclusion. Not in the way of, I mean, One Piece is just filled with theories.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what those are. Those are theories. They go against a story, but they also follow it. But if somebody takes one of those things and they just completely ignore it
Mm-hmm.
and twist it until it's the exact opposite of what people are actually, of what everyone is kind of seeing, that's when it
Mm-hmm.
becomes, I think, an issue. And the author kind of needs to be like, okay, no, you can have a theory, but this is beyond that and this is completely wrong. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't give a specific one off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. Of which example specifically?
Well, I'm trying to think of a specific example to give you, but off the top of my head, I cannot think.
It's only because you're trying to think about it. It'll come to you in
Yeah,
like 30
probably.
minutes.
Watch, it'll come like in the middle of the night when I wake up at 3 a.m.
Hey, your brain talks to you. Hey, you asleep? Yeah, and then that's that again. It's like, oh my gosh.
Dang. So when we're thinking about 2026 and we're thinking about our writing, I'm curious, what are your goals for this year then? So if you're going to pivot to something else, what are you going to focus on instead? Or are you going to keep writing the same and then just push publishing off into a different year?
I'm gonna try writing the same. I'm gonna try to work on Raging Inferno when I can, but I've also got 3 series in my fan fictions that I'm working on that I really would actually like to get through. The current story that I'm working on, I think I'm actually halfway through it already, and I just started writing it last week. But I've also really been enjoying it, so I really like this character. They're really cool. And so it's helping me actually get through it, but there's other stories that I want to write. And I mean, yeah, I'm not getting paid for fan fiction as much as I would love that, but
One of these days, Sol. One of these days.
apparently there was somebody that actually did get paid for fan fiction. It got I think it's like being turned into a movie or something. I have it saved somewhere. I'll send you the information later because it was neat.
It was the Harry Potter one.
It wasn't. No, this was something recent.
This was different. Yeah, because I know that
this was completely different.
Fiction, I think, with Draco and I think it's Draco and Hermione. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that got picked up, or that's going to be adapted into something.
Yes, that was it. For a second I thought you were talking about the that play thing they did years ago, but
I wish they would adapt that. I loved the Harry Potter.
The Cursed Child.
The Cursed Child was interesting as well. I don't know if the Cursed Child would do well though. It's kind
of they turned that into, I think, like a Broadway or a play or something on stage like that, and I guess it did well. But
I think they could have adapted anything they want, and instead of adapting Cursed Child, they decided to redo the entire series and make it a TV show. So clearly, that's where their priority.
They should have done the Marauders.
They should have, but clearly their focus is television because they know that's where. I mean, obviously their focus is. HBO's focus is clearly on streaming, and I think the Harry Potter first season. I mean, I think it's in production. I'm pretty sure it's in production. I forgot where it's at. I think it's slated for a 2027 release. I believe.
I believe it's supposed to come out in like mid.
I keep mixing them up because there's all the ones. There's like Harry Potter. There's Chronicles of Narnia. I think Chronicles of Narnia is this summer, if I recall correctly. There's another Hunger Games
from Netflix, I think.
That's later this year. But Sol, I bet you're excited for One Piece. Since they officially announced the release
March
date.
10th. March 10th is when the second season hits. We just got the latest trailer. I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, and the third season is also in production. Last I heard.
Which is good. I mean, that's clearly One Piece is doing well. We'll see. Usually with Netflix shows and just series in general, we'll see if it has longevity after the second season, depending on how well the second season is received.
I heard, and this is just a rumor, but I heard they were thinking about trying to go up to, I think they were going to go up to at least Skypiea, if not Ennis Lobby. And I got to admit, Chopper is one thing. Chopper ate the human food. He's a reindeer, but he can look human. But once they actually get to the actual like animalistic zones, that I gotta admit, I'm super curious for that because you've got one guy who turns into a giraffe, you've got a wolf, you've got.
I'm curious how they're going to do the skeleton dude.
Yeah, Brooke is going to be tricky, I think,
because he's introduced. He's introduced before Ennis, before. All that is coming up right after.
He came in on Thriller Bark, which was right after Ennis Lobby.
It's right after. But I mean, Ennis Lobby and then everything with the brother is a very compelling storyline.
That was Marineford.
Oh, that was Marineford. I would say
Ennis Lobby is when they went to rescue Robin.
Oh, that's way earlier. I would almost argue that in the first couple arcs, I would argue that the Marineford was one of the strongest storylines. I think the Robin Ennisford is strong, but I think the brother storyline is probably emotionally the strongest, at least in that first half of the series.
In the pre-time skip era, yeah, the whole thing with Ace is definitely definitely the most heartbreaking pre-time skip.
Yeah, I would say that's. I think it's just the strongest from an emotional and from the way that they. Just the way that it's done, it's just done very well. And I think it has a stronger emotional tie-in than they do during the Ennis Lobby arc because there's no real emotional connection with all these new characters. It's just a lot of new things that happen that are really interesting.
There's an emotional connection with Robin, and
you don't really start caring about Robin till the end. because she's like there and then she's interesting, and then
Well,
I kind of go back and forth with her.
from what I've seen, people really started to care about Robin midway through the Alabasta arc. Season 3 of the live action is going to be Alabasta. So we actually get to see Sir Crocodile. We get to see more of Baroque Works, Das Bones, all of them. But Robin, most people seem to start. This is from what I've seen. They started caring about her midway through Alabasta because she seems so different from Crocodile. But then Ennis Lobby is when it really kind of kicked off of, oh crap, no, she really is one of the Straw Hats.
Yeah, I could agree with
The
that.
moment Usopp shot down the flag, that's just kind of where everything ramped up. And I really, really cannot wait to actually that scene specifically. It is one of the most iconic scenes in One Piece. I mean, I have seen so many renditions of it. It is insane.
Really?
But it is probably one of the scenes that hits the hardest in the entire series.
Really?
I mean, lately I have actually been seeing that scene compared to the in terms of strength to the mural in Elbaf, which is just in the manga right now. That we don't actually get to see that in the anime until I think it's anticipated in July.
Interesting. Well, I guess we will find out. And I'm actually feeling super inspired right now. So let's get some writing in. Let's hop into our first writing sprint. By the way, if you're here and you're enjoying the conversation, tap that like button. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. All right, and let's hop into it. I'll screen share and boom. All right, so let's get some writing in. We'll start off with a 30-minute writing sprint. We'll see just what we can do. I believe in us. Let's push. Whether you're going to get in a couple words, some ideas, some author branding stuff, or something in between, let's do it. We're all ready because it's time. That was the first writing sprint. How did that treat y'all? Were you able to get any words in that time? Hopefully, any progress? Let us know. Hopefully, we were able to make a little bit of push. I That was very interesting. That was very interesting. I'm revising reviewing one of the few Mr. Crow chapters, and I'm quickly reminded about how eccentric the character is. Man, let me tell you, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to write from the POV of a character who is crazed and has lost their mind. And trying to do it in a way where it feels like it's authentic without using too many fragments and confusing the reader.
Just ask me, man. I'll help you. I know crazy.
Crazy, I can't hear you. Maybe it's me.
Oh.
I can hear him just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it does that.
His computer just does not like you.
That's okay. I still like the computer. We're friends, I guess. I accept it. I'll accept it.
Yeah, I don't know, crazy. For some reason, that's like only ever happened with you. I don't know why it does that.
I have the power to destroy.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is, like, just go ahead and ask me, man. I know crazy. Come on, I'm right here. You know, I'm waiting.
Crazy. How do we write a character who's lost their mind in a way that feels authentic to the character?
Well, it depends. Are you talking like lost his mind in like a sad way or in a joyful way?
And you said a sad way, or what was that?
Or a joyful way?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it was a joyful way. I think it was definitely a traumatic way. How has he lost his mind?
Give it coffee.
Without giving away any major serious beats, I would say he's lost his mind as a result of a magical effect. I would say. So basically, his mind has been splintered over. Let's just say his mind has been splintered.
Like maybe it would bother him so much that it is, unless he doesn't know what happened. Just kind of one of those. For me, in a serious note, okay, people, calm down with the craziness. On a serious
actually, you know,
note,
I can give a better explanation. Actually, without sharing too much, his mind has been fragmented over two separate periods in time.
Okay.
So he constantly, his mind is constantly ping pongs back and forth between the present moment and then between various past moments. So it's kind of like he's it comes across as a crazed effect. It comes across as psychotic, but really what's happening is his mind, his present state is constantly shifting between different time periods in his life.
Probably, like, if we're talking like it bothers him, just think it's making him feel like, oh my gosh, I can't take this like all day, every day. I'm seeing this. It's just out of control. I can't stop it, you know, and maybe murmur to himself like, no, this is not how it's supposed to happen. No, that's not how it happened. Yeah, something. I don't know. That's a different one. That's wasn't what I was thinking really, but it's kind of, I don't know. That one's kind of tricky. I'll admit that. You kind of got me there. You kind of got me there. I'll admit that.
Yep. I know. I've created some very unique world magic effects in the way that it affects characters. And Embro asked, "Is it trauma related?" I would say that the magical effects, have created trauma as a result. No, I would say that it has layered over his trauma. So the trauma that he experienced he doesn't remember what the trauma is because he's experiencing so many different moments before the trauma happened and then after the trauma happened.
It almost sounds like disassociation in a way.
It actually kind of it is disassociation.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the closest. I think it is disassociation.
And
Actually, I think that would be the best way. The way it's happened is a result of magic, but I think it is. So that's a good call out.
And it also depends on like if he's trying to either if he sees both of them and does what I say and goes like,
Mhm.
no, that's not that's not supposed to happen. Or why did that happen? Or if he's kind of like, forget what I was going with this dagnabbit. If he's just kind of like trying to figure it out I don't think he'd be trying to figure out what the trauma is, right? And he just kind of
His
more
mind's
focused on
his
those
mind's
two.
trying to remember what the trauma is,
Okay.
but
And
because
maybe
because it's been so long, he's it's almost kind of like he's stuck in his own cycle, his own loop.
Okay, in all honesty, I might be able to actually write you something that can help you write him better, because what you described is actually kind of what I dealt with for years. I wasn't like crazy or anything like that, but
yeah. So I'll have to get your feedback. I'll have to get your feedback when you get to that chapter, because it's not that chapter is not till like deeper into Act 2.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to see if it actually comes across the way that I'm intending for it to come across, because throughout a lot of the story you see this character externally, and externally he just comes across like he's a bipolar weirdo who spouts nonsense. But then it's different when it's his POV, because you have to be able to try to explore that deeper in a way that feels authentic. But you can't just do a full chapter of sentence fragments. Like, the reader will get confused.
Yeah, there sentence fragments. That's actually one thing my other writing group had commented on a lot with me is I have the tendency to use sentence fragments in times of intensity or stress. Once like one or two is one thing, but I actually used mine enough. They commented on it quite a few times, actually.
Like they said you were doing it too often.
More like they wanted to make sure that I knew that I was doing it and that they understood it. It wasn't, they never framed it like it was a problem, but I think at some point, I think they were generally concerned that maybe I hadn't realized I was writing in sentence fragments rather than I had meant to do that because the scenario called for that.
Yeah, what people have told me with sentence fragments, and I think I agree, is that it's kind of like with our non-traditional what's, I'm blanking on the word, non-traditional things like ellipses, parentheses, semicolons. With the non-traditional things, that it's kind of used sparingly.
Yeah, non-traditional punctuation is
Punctuation. I'm like, brain fart. I was like, I knew it. But it's like, I think it's same with sentence fragments. Like, things don't always have to be grammatically correct. Because sometimes, like, if you're writing authentically in a character, right, like sometimes you do need sentence fragments. But if you only write in sentence fragments and it's jarring to the reading experience, then the reader is going to not connect with the character.
Yeah, I think there are some instances where sentence fragments is more than okay. It's actually kind of necessary to understand the character. But yeah, most of the time they need to be used sparingly. You need, at the very least, and this is just for me because I tend to use them often, not like a whole lot, just enough that I have characters that deal with that kind of thing. The reader needs to be able to understand what's going on, and as long as there's context, as long as there's at least some sense thrown in there, sentence fragments, the jarring effect can be softened.
Yeah, and I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create that. I'm trying to create a type of jarring effect with his, or I've tried to create a type of jarring effect with his POV while the reader's still clear on what's happening. Of all the characters in the first Scarecrow book, Crow is probably the most unreliable of all the characters. It's like extremely unreliable. And Ambrosia, that's a good call out, right? So you said triggers that make the memory appear. There
Yes.
are a lot of triggers, which I do very intentionally, but externally, the triggers just kind of come across as nonsense. Or the way that the crow is triggered generally he responds nonsensically, but then in his POV you see the way that he responds to triggers, and you basically get the deeper level of how he responds to the triggers, without actually like solving anything. So I guess it shows more of how he's stuck in the loop. It's kind of interesting. So I guess it's kind of a mix between disassociation and PTSD. Actually, I didn't even think about that, but you guys kind of nailed it. I think that is what the character deals with.
Well, hey, disassociation and PTSD, I deal with that.
Which all the more reasons, so that I'll definitely have to get your feedback on it.
Yeah, more than happy to help with that kind of thing, because I'll
It is.
admit, in my therapy right now, I'm actually learning how to not disassociate. So
Well, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good
not
thing.
that
Want to
it happens
disassociate
often,
less.
but it's like, if it's happened once, it could happen again. So let's just not have that happen.
Is the Mad Hatter a disassociative character?
I think I've actually might have heard that before. So I heard something about that with him.
Crow might actually be the closest. It's been so long since I've read it. I'm trying to remember what the original Mad Hatter was, but it might be a Mad Hatter effect. It's possible. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
I just looked it up. The Mad Hatter's effect was actually due to historically linked to mercury poisoning, which actually can cause which could actually have disassociation like symptoms appear.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's some things I'm looking this up. There's some things. Some of his the way he's portrayed, he could have PTSD, borderline personality disorder. But yeah, no, if there was mercury poison, if there was like historically mercury poisoning, yeah, no, that would cause that kind of effects.
Yeah, because
Probably wouldn't be a
secretly,
bad idea to research that.
secretly in Alice in Wonderland, what nobody knew about, but the author of the book had secretly put some kind of, not necessarily messages maybe, but just things that were actually happening in real life. And like the Mad Hatter, there were some people that would end up like that for real. And it was kind of like at that time, I guess in a way, people just didn't care. And
I
think of
actually do
it
think.
as
Yeah,
think of it as like this was his way or her. I forget who the author is, but think of it as a way of them like kind of rebelling against it all. And they just, because he knew that if any actual word was to get out of what they were doing where he lived, where the author lived, they would like probably punish him or whatever. So he had to secretly do that throughout the book, and no one knew about it till now.
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland was there's a lot of social commentary in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
Especially,
that's what
and
it is.
that author was very intentional with that. They
Yes.
contrasted against a very strange world, and a lot of the characters were actually designed to be social comments on society at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I didn't know it till I saw a video about it. I was like, yo, that just somewhat kind of ruined the movie for me, but I'll go with it.
Oh man. Well, I definitely appreciate your guys' feedback. We'll see how this goes. And let's hop back in another writing sprint. So let's get back into it. Crazy's already. Let's do it. We're gonna get back into the vibe. We're gonna push for round 2. I have about enough time for 25 minutes, so we'll push for a round 2, a 25-minute sprint, and we'll see what we see. All right. So we are all ready with come join us for round 2 of writing sprint, writing, editing, revising. Let's do it because it's time to write now. All right, and that was the writing sprint. Man, oh wow. Whew. How'd that writing sprint treat you guys? Were you able to make any progress that time?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hooray!
You probably still can't hear me.
Yay! No, I can hear you, crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I realized maybe it has something to do with when I mute you guys. When I mute you for some reason, something to do with settings. That could be my only guess.
I can see
Or maybe it just doesn't like me. That's okay. I'll be fine.
How were you guys able to get some words in though that time?
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Nice. And it looks like that. Hopefully, let's see, Lynn, 0 words, work got in the way. Well, understandable when you're at work, that totally makes sense. Megan just mostly brainstormed a couple ideas, edited a line. I mean, all progress is good progress, right? So making a little bit of progress, hopefully, pushing on a little bit. This chapter, I tell you guys, it goes back and forth on so many different beats. I literally alternate page by page on this character and his disassociation. Oh my goodness. It's fun though. It's fun. While still having to introduce new characters and forwarding the plot in a way that's clear to the reader. All right. Well, I feel like we were able to get some pretty solid progress today. I feel pretty good about what the direction that we're heading in. Yeah. So I feel pretty awesome. I feel great. I feel wonderful. And I feel like we had some really moving conversations today, which is really powerful and all really, really good things to chat about. And I'm glad we were able to make some progress. So I feel like we're going to call writers meeting a little early. I have to wrap it up today, but we appreciate all y'all for joining us. As always, Writers Group is always fun. Same time, same place, every single Wednesday, 4 Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're here. Join us as we chat with some of the other writers in the community. Sol, you and I at 70 plus meetings here. We'll get to 100 soon. We'll be there. Crazy, you can help us cross 100.
You're darn right I will.
Hey. So definitely appreciate you, my friends. I will be back tomorrow. I think I'm falling into this early afternoon time slot. It seemed to be what's working with my current schedule. So probably an early afternoon slot. Come join us. Yeah. That's all that I got. I think I was nothing crazy going on this week. Oh, Sunday is our critique group. So anyone part of the critique right now or channel membership, y'all should come join. Super cool. It's a really cool thing. Just click the join button down below the YouTube video, or it's also in the description as well. Really great way to be able to get feedback from other writers in the community. And that is all that I got. It's everything that comes to mind. I appreciate it, my friends. I'm Kaufman.
Chat Soul.
Crazy.
And we'll queue up the intro video for y'all one more time. All right, friends, we'll catch you on the next stream.
Right now.
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 Right.
Right now.
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 Right now. Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.